Goff has turned into a turnover machine. You're not going to win Super Bowls or playoff games with your quarterback playing like he's playing right now. You got $134 million invested in your quarterback, a guy you're not real happy with right now, a guy you really want to get rid of, and you stand in front of the media and you go, well, week after week, I got to stand up here and defend this guy and complain about him. No, you don't. Sit his ass down and put somebody else in there. I know you can't get rid of him, way too much money. But there's a quarterback out there named Matthew Stafford, and if you could, I would make a move, get rid of the one guy, bring in Stafford.
Alright, fellas, you guys just heard what Terry Bradshaw said. Normally, I would just give out the reminders first, but I want to address the video. Alright, so you saw Terry Bradshaw just say that the Rams and the Lions were going to switch quarterbacks. I mean, wow, he just predicted the future. This video was made in December. This was couple months before this trade happened, or at least several weeks. That's my point I'm trying to say. He predicted the future. The Rams literally followed everything they said, so I gotta give total props to Terry Bradshaw. Give him credit for that. He's not getting enough credit for predicting that future. And before I get to this topic, I now have reminders to give you guys to go do. So go follow me at Tran Talks on Instagram. Also, go follow me at Tran Talks on Snapchat. Go subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Turn on that notification bell, whether you're using a computer, tablet, phone, or an electronic device. Please turn on the notification bell for Sports Guy Talking. When you see a notification pop up and it's related to Sports Guy Talking, click on that. Touch on that, whatever. Either way, you got to get there. So be aware about that. So click on it. Watch the video. Like the video. Comment down below. The more you guys do this, the more the channel grows. Currently at 152 subscribers. Let's keep that count going up. I intend to have that increase. So my point is just go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and also just drop a like on the video. It literally takes 5-10 seconds to do that. It's not difficult to do. So go ahead and do that, please. So those are reminders that I gotta give for you guys to go ahead and go do. Alright, so what is this topic exactly about? It is about the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade. I'm going to be talking about what the Rams got, what the Lions got. I'm going to give my takeaways for both teams. We're going to talk about the contract terms for both quarterbacks. Then I'm going to talk about who I believe got the best end of the deal and who got the worst deal of the end. Then I'm going to give my statements, and then I'm going to give my conclusion. So that's what I'm going to give my case about. So here's the topic question. Who won the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade? The trade had the Rams received Matthew Stafford, the Lions received Jared Goff, the 89th pick. That's a third-round pick in 2021. A 2022 Los Angeles Rams first-rounder. A 2023 Los Angeles Rams first-rounder. So, in other words, the Rams and Lions switch quarterbacks, and the Rams give up to the Lions a third-round pick and 2 future first-round picks. They cannot give up a first-round pick in 2021 since they already gave that up in another deal for Jalen Ramsey. So this is pretty crazy, especially for the NFL. This rarely happens. So here are my takeaways. So quick takeaways. The Rams, they were very desperate to move on from Jared Goff. They couldn't wait to move on from him. And mortgaging the future for when now moves are done again in Los Angeles. This is something that they always do. This will really test how much of a genius Sean McVay is. Then you look at the Lions. The trade value for Matthew Stafford was way better than expected. This does not help him now, but it could, keyword could, help him in the future. The quarterback will more than likely not be drafted with the 7th pick for the Lions due to cap issues. I mean, there's really no point in drafting a quarterback with the 7th pick now that you got Goff in the build. So contractual terms, Matthew Stafford is simpler than with Goff, but I'm going to start with Matthew Stafford. He currently has 2 years, $43 million left on his contract. A contract extension will not be required to be done now. He counts $19.0 million on the Lions books in 2021. So basically for the Lions, he counts $19 million against them, and he has a 2022 roster bonus. He has $10 million due the 5th day of the 2022 NFL season. So that's some stuff to know about that. Now let's move on to Jared Goff. He currently has 4 years, $106.6 million left on his contract. He counts $22.2 million on LA's books in 2021. the LA Rams, to be specific. That's a lot of dead money that they have. $22.2 million. That's no joke, obviously. Now the Lions have $15.5 million in dead cap if Jared Goff. I'm at the Lions. That's what I'm trying to say. $15.5 million in dead cap for Jared Goff if released before June 1st, 2022. Now, there is no dead money against the cap if traded before June 1st, 2022, and there is no guaranteed money left after 2022 season, so Lions can technically release him and nothing would happen. So essentially, he's playing on a 2-year, $53.325 million contract, which is, well, it depends on how it plays over the next few years. That's my takeaway from it. So the best end of the deal, and then the quote-unquote worst end of the deal. So I got the Lions as I meant the Rams as the best end of the deal, while the Lions were quote-unquote the worst end of the deal, even though I really don't think that. So let's start with the statements. So I'm going to give my Rams statement, and then I'm going to give my Lions statement. Alright, so for the Rams, they got what they needed, which was an upgrade at the quarterback position. Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Everybody should know that. Matthew Stafford is also cheaper than Jared Goff, which helps out some cap relief in the 2021 season. This was the best team that Matthew Stafford has ever been on with this trade happening now, and I expect them to perform at a high level. The Rams just upgraded themselves to the quarterback position, which is sorely needed in the NFC West since all of them were good. The 2 first-rounders given up looked bad, but with the Rams contending for the NFL playoffs year in and year out, that will not hurt them too much. Giving up a 3rd-rounder will not hurt either, because they will still have 2 of those from the Brad Holmes hiring by the Lions. Remember, if an African-American executive or an African-American head coach gets hired, then that means 2 compensatory 3rd-round picks will be given to that team that originally had that African-American person. That's my point that I'm trying to make here, which is ironic enough since Brad Holmes got hired by the Lions. It is risky on paper, but it actually works out logically. That's my statement for the Rams. I want to move on now to the Lions. So, to me, yes, they got more than enough max value for Matthew Stafford. Look, if I was a general manager, my offer for Matthew Stafford would have been something like 2 second-round picks, a day 3 pick, and a decent player. The Rams, in my opinion, undoubtedly overpaid, but they could afford that. This trade actually does not help out the Lions that much, though, in 2021, because those 2 first-rounders will not come into play until 2022 and 2023. They actually only received a 3rd rounder for the 2021 NFL Draft. They got good rebuild pieces, I suppose, with those picks, but you have to actually hit on those picks. I believe that those 2 first-rounders will land somewhere in the 20s due to the Rams contending for potential deep playoff runs year in and year out. As for getting Jared Goff, he is a good bridge quarterback. However, the Lions should be trying to find their long-term quarterback. That's what they should be trying to do. Do not rely on Jared Goff solely. The Jared Goff contract is not that bad if he can perform, but I have high doubts about that due to his lack of supporting cast. He's never been a guy that has been able to elevate his supporting cast. The trade simply just looks good on paper. Now let's move on to the conclusion. So that's my statement that I got to give for the Lions. Now we'll move on to the conclusion. So who are the winners of this? The Rams were actually the winners of the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade. I know you guys are going to be like, what? Because most fans are thinking the Lions won the trade, but I think the Rams won the trade. But I want to note that the Lions did get more than enough for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford instantly makes the Rams a better football team. They will have a legitimate chance to win the NFC West Division title now, which is good for them. The Rams also get rid of the horrible contract that Jared Goff was on. The draft picks are not going to hurt them in the long run since the draft well outside the 1st round. Anyways, the Lions got themselves a starting caliber quarterback, but with his play style, I do not think that he will improve overall. The Lions just took themselves out of the quarterback race in the 2021 NFL Draft, which I believe is the most stacked ever since maybe when I started watching football. But the point is the Lions did take themselves out essentially by taking the Jared Goff contract. They can't do it now. The draft haul is nice for the Lions, but the Lions do not have a lot of draft assets anyway for 2021. The trade is so complicated for the Lions, and they may have just clouded their future at the quarterback position Jared Goff is good enough to not let the Lions pick high, but he will be bad enough for the Lions to not really be anywhere near the NFL playoffs. Overall, from best to quote-unquote worst, here are the teams that won the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade. It is the Rams, then the Lions. So overall, I'm going to give the Rams something like, I'm going to give them A minus for this trade or a B plus, but I'm going to give the Lions a B to a B plus. So it's not as bad as what you guys might be thinking I'm trying to say about the Lions, but I'm saying the Rams actually got a good deal out of this because their picks are not going to hurt them in the long run, and they get the upgraded quarterback that is needed. McVay's going to coach them up. They're going to be good with them. But with the Lions, yeah, they got more than enough max value for Matthew Stafford, but you actually have to hit on the picks. I'm not too confident in that, and I'm not really too confident in Jared Goff being the long-term quarterback in Detroit. I mean, Detroit is where quarterback careers are there to die, unless you're Matthew Stafford. Overall, though, from best to worst, here are the teams that won the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade. It is the Rams, then the Lions, and those are my thoughts on why I have the reaction that I have on the Matthew Stafford-Jared Goff trade. That is why I have the Rams as the biggest winners of this trade, while I have the Lions as the quote-unquote biggest losers of this trade. Even though that is not really the case, that's what I got to say about that. And those are my thoughts on all of that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Tran Talks on the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.